Hey everybody, it's Party Elite, and today we're taking a look at Expeditions Rome, set to release in just a couple of days from the release of this video. Thanks to the developers providing me with an early access key, I've been able to dive into this game and see how it stacks up against its predecessors. Expeditions has been a series spread across multiple settings, and in this third outing, we take charge of a Roman legate and the legions of Rome in a tale of vengeance, conquest, and glory. If you enjoy this video, don't hesitate to let me know with a like and a comment down below, and let me know if you'd like to see more videos like this highlighting upcoming releases. I personally quite enjoy doing them. With all that said, and no time to waste, let's march on. Roleplaying Revenge. The setup for the story is a relatively simple one as far as protagonists with traumatic pasts are concerned. Now, I'm keeping spoilers to an absolute minimum, so you've got nothing to worry about here. Right off the bat, you find out that your character's father is the victim of a political assassination, and in order to keep you safe, you've been sent off. Ironically, the people who've sent you off have sent you to a war zone, and it isn't long before you rise up the ranks and see yourself put in charge of legions in Asia Minor, North Africa, and Gaul. These are all opportunities for you to gain glory in the name of Rome so that you might return home as a hero, one to be respected or perhaps feared. As you might imagine, being an RPG, Expeditions Rome gives you control over who you are to a reasonable degree. Right off the bat, you can choose your appearance and rhetorical style. Are you one who uses their character and authority, their logic, or their emotional intelligence to get ahead in life? Your choice of perk here will determine conversation choices and decisions that'll be available to you and can really set the tone for certain situations. Beyond that, you'll be able to pick from one of 4 classes, each with their own associated active and passive skills and skill trees that you'll work through as you acquire more skill points, and you'll also have unique starting equipment, and it'll affect how you use your character when it comes time to do battle. You've got your heavy infantry, your light infantry, your ranged, and your support classes, and they're all valuable in their own ways, meaning you don't feel like you've missed out if you pick one or the other. And the rest of your party will fill out the gaps as needed, so you'll be able to play with all the toys. And these other party members will do more than just fight by your side. They all have their own backstories, personalities, and preferences, as well as traits beyond what their classes afford them too. Party members in Expeditions Rome include more than just the people you do battle with. They include Praetorians left behind at your military camp performing various duties, as well as Centurions leading your legions, commanding battles. We'll touch more on exactly what they do in just a little bit, but as far as role-playing is concerned, these Praetorians, Centurions, and your story-attached named characters all have different opinions on how things should be handled. If you show mercy, merciful members of your party will be pleased. If you act greedy, you're likely to upset some and please others. If you warmonger, show a thirst for blood, etc., etc., you'll be impacting your relationships, and people who aren't fans of yours are more likely to desert, to abandon you mid-battle, and to otherwise cause you trouble. It's a nice extra layer of ego and personality management as you try to establish who you are in this world. The role-playing is really on point here, and there were certainly times when I felt as though I had to choose between tangible and intangible benefits. Is that extra money really worth upsetting my centurions just before a major battle? Well, I could use that money to recruit more soldiers, but if the person in charge of the battle decides he's had enough of me and abandons his post, well, I might be in a spot of trouble. Side quests will give you advantages in your conquests should you take them and their associated risks on, and some of these side quests will make you question your loyalties to your moral compass, to Rome, and more. Beyond that still come the random events that crop up from time to time while traveling around the world, impacting people's opinions and affecting what resources you have at your disposal. The role-playing here really feels like it goes beyond simple binary decisions, and with the mostly excellent voice acting, I had a hard time clicking that skip dialogue button. Across continents, you will plot and kill and conquer in the name of Rome. Unique tactical battles. The tactical battles in Expeditions Rome have a lot of very interesting differentiators. Naturally, there are some baseline expectations with the genre and turn-based tactical battles in general. There are turns grouped between yourself, your enemies, and any allies not under your direct control. There are hexes, with facing playing an important role from time to time, and there is high and low cover, movement points, action points, skills, and equipment. The usual assortment, including an Overwatch type ability for your archer classes. As I was saying, however, there are some major differentiators. For one, action points come in various types. Diamonds are the most basic type needed for almost all skills. You'll have one per turn, but characters that eliminate a specific type of low-level enemy will have theirs replenished when they do so, encouraging you to target weaker enemies sooner for that extra advantage. The diamond action point can also be used to gain extra movement points when you desperately need to get to a spot sooner. Then there are the squares. These are charges on skill use, and some skills don't need diamonds to use at all, needing just these charges instead. Finally, there are circles, your tactical equipment like bandages, torches, pila, water jugs. These can all be used independent of anything else, but you can only use one tactical item per turn. So you've got movement points, attacks, skills, and tactical equipment that can all be used in a turn, making each turn a densely packed series of decisions. These skills you'll have on hand are determined partly by your class and the way you've spent your skill points over time, but also by the equipment you're carrying. Each character can carry 2 sets of weapons that they can swap between mid-battle, and each piece of equipment unlocks various skills, as do empty hands. Some characters can throw sand in their enemies' eyes, some can heal the wounded, some can intimidate, so on and so forth. Now, some weapons work in tandem to unlock unique skills, like a sword and shield combo or a sword and dagger combo. You'll sometimes want to take advantage of these synergies, but they could come at other costs. Shields, for example, offer a great benefit on the battlefield, blocking all damage to health until the shield itself has been completely reduced in strength. Even if a shield has just 1 point of strength left, it'll eat up all the damage directed at its bearer outside of very specific circumstances. Shields can also be replenished mid-battle to keep them active, deflecting ranged shots completely and blocking incoming attacks alike. So, do you give that up for a dagger and some extra potential damage, or do you choose to retain that extra survivability? Some weapons are best used against shielded enemies, since they can't be blocked at all, while some are best used against armor, since they'll shred the armor itself. Armor is a unique proposition here as well. Rather than weapons that can pierce armor entirely, all your weapons have to overwhelm the armor that the enemy is wearing before they can cause any damage to the wearer. This can be very hard to accomplish against more heavily armored enemies, and so you'll need to focus on shredding their armor bit by bit first, using those specific armor shredding weapons. It's an added layer of complexity that makes the decision making on the battlefield just that little bit more compelling. A lot of the times, games, especially in these strategy and tactics genres, tend to add complexities that don't necessarily make a game more interesting. They simply bloat the experience to say that there's more going on. But in the case of Expeditions Rome, in the way that it handles armor and shields and health and action points, it all feels purposeful. It all does something, and it all works to the benefit of the game. So when I say that all this stuff makes the battlefield a bit more complex and compelling, I mean it actually adds to the gameplay experience, making it interesting to engage with. Not a chore, not something you have to work around, but something you want to work with or against as a part of the challenge or the development of your characters as you play on. Naturally, armor, shields, they work for your characters just as they work for the enemy, so you'll want to kit your characters out for various circumstances in various ways, and you can use all that to your advantage as and when the time comes. You'll whittle away enemy morale to get them to panic and flee, you'll flank enemies to drop their resistance to various damage types, and you'll apply status effects from bleeding to cripple to wet to burning and so on and so forth to cause damage over time or otherwise weaken your foe, while chasing buffs for your own team of warriors. Battles in Expeditions Rome are, again, like I was saying, quite complex ordeals, and sometimes you'll have to rely on your weaker soldiers, ensuring they keep up with their experience gain, lest one of your heavily invested in characters dies from an injury that festers and worsens over time without treatment. One of the greatest things about these tactical battles is how they tie into the strategic layer of the game. So let's discuss the strategic layer. In Expeditions Rome, not only are you in charge of your party as it travels from town to town and from outpost to mine to beachfront to temple, but you also lead your legions to these same places, ordering them into battle, securing provinces, and resources for your conquests. You'll maintain your outpost as well, building and upgrading structures that unlock new mechanics and systems, further strengthening your chances in battles, both tactical and strategic. As you travel from place to place, you'll have to worry about money, rations, and medicine. Money for trade, rations for feeding your party and troops alike, and medicine for healing injured individuals when on the march. Slaves are an additional resource as well that have a few different types of uses, from helping establish resource gathering to trading for more wealth, etc., etc. At outposts, you'll take advantage of captured resource sites, sending your legions to capture loggers, farms, tanneries, and iron mines in order to build the aforementioned upgrades. And beyond that, you'll be spending your denarii to replenish your legions and to hire centurions to lead them and praetorians to join your party in tactical battles. Centurions and praetorians each have their own specializations alongside their own traits, strengths, and weaknesses, and all of these come together to determine what tasks they perform best. For example, most praetorians can be assigned to the bath in order to improve how they feel about you as an individual, but praetorians with the social trait can be assigned to the bath to help improve their opinion of you while also improving the morale of your legions, which in turn helps them fight better in battle, potentially saving you some denarii as you use the heightened will to fight rather than sheer numbers to overcome your enemy's armies. Some upgrades and structures at your outpost will allow you to procure tactical items using denarii, but with assigned praetorians, you'll have some be crafted for free over time. The praetorians might need more or less time and might result in more or fewer crafted items per tick depending on their traits. You might sometimes cycle your praetorians and centurions depending on who you want available for tactical battles, for use at your outpost, or for leadership roles in strategic battles. You'll want to make sure people are leveling up somewhat evenly in case, again, somebody dies or gets injured in combat or during one of the many sporadic events that pop up as you travel the world. Any medics you're traveling with might be able to heal injured allies given the right skill level, and any scouts you're traveling with will make your party move faster, potentially allowing you to get back to your medical tent at your outpost more quickly should you lack a medic in your crew. There are a lot of moving parts here, and I haven't even touched on the strategic battles that take place when your legions have to either attack or defend a position, asking you to pick a commander from your centurions based on their strengths, and further asking you to pick military strategies for each of 4 phases of battle, impacting your legion's numbers, morale, the loot they might acquire, how many might desert, and what happens to the enemy when it's all over. These battles can be tense back and forths later in the game, and you'll have to upgrade your outpost appropriately to acquire higher level strategies to overcome more difficult enemies. Balancing experience, morale, and strength alongside leaders' skills and loyalties is another extra layer to the strategic aspects of Expeditions Rome, forcing you to give up a certain degree of control and entrusting your subordinates to do the jobs you've picked them for. It almost adds a level of management, as if this were a Roman conquest simulator game. The map traversal, the time management, and the plethora of impactful decisions that need to be made keep the strategic layer compelling. Again, much like the tactical battle, I say here, the complexities all add to making a better, more fulfilling experience. These aren't complexities for the sake of complexities. The game's not just trying to be difficult or obtuse. These are actual engaging gameplay elements where you're making interesting decisions. I do want to say that these strategic battles could have a bit more meat to them. There could be more maybe compelling events and maybe perhaps a clearer explanation of what's going on and how your decisions are affecting the battlefield. But apart from that, whether it's picking out the right resources, building the right upgrades, making sure all the correct people are assigned to the right jobs, it's all very interesting stuff, and it really makes you feel like you're in charge of these massive campaigns. Many of these types of games really fall flat with the strategic layer being a matter of, simple tech trees and skill point distribution, but here some of those concepts are obfuscated behind player actions, and you feel significantly more involved. Plus, it's just cool to command Roman legions as they conquer vast tracts of territory. Commitment to detail. I came, I saw, I conquered. A familiar phrase to many. Veni, Vidi, Vici is how you might have heard it said, and if so, you've heard wrong. Not just because I'm probably butchering the incorrect pronunciation myself, but it's actually Veni, Vidi, Vici, because, well, that's classical Latin. Asia? Nope, it's Asia. Legate? Nope, it's legatus, outside of very specific circumstances. Expeditions Rome has a serious commitment to accuracy, and though at times there are some, let's say, goofy accents, and though it does take some getting used to, I cannot help but point out how much I appreciate this dedication. Don't get me wrong, hearing things like Asia, it's a little strange. You know, it takes some getting used to, but it did pretty quickly grow on me as I saw how dedicated the game's writers and voice actors tried to be to the cause here.
Watch your tongue! You're talking to the commander of Legio Witrix!
The writing is absolutely excellent, keeping in mind the proper use of titles and the lack of V's in Latin and how Caesar is actually pronounced. I'm sure some of it is up for debate out there somewhere, but as far as immersion is concerned, I have to say I absolutely loved it once I got used to it. The only way it could have been better is if the Romans were speaking Latin, the Greeks Greek, so on and so forth. It's one of those things that often gets tucked under a rug. Oh, just give them British accents and we're all set, right? From big budget HBO productions to like 90% of video games out there, this kind of stuff goes by the wayside. So I must give my compliments here. Immersion, when playing an RPG especially, is of utmost importance, and it's not just about the voice acting and writing either. It's about the structure of things, the ranks, the roles, the people involved in your decision-making process. They're all well represented, and they really add to the experience. Honestly, this is the most I've felt like I've been playing a Roman, or I've been helping Rome conquer various parts of the world, and this is coming from somebody who's played Rome Total War, and Rome 2 Total War, and Shadow of Rome, and Rise, Son of Rome. I've played a lot of games, you know, that make you a Roman. But this one felt real special. They did a very good job of just focusing on every little detail. Every conversation you have is interesting. Every system you have to sort of work through is compelling, and it all ties into this, again, commitment to detail. Expeditions Rome is a tactical and strategic role-playing game set during a very interesting time in history. You take control of a character from their body to their mind, making important decisions that determine the fate of not just yourself, but Rome too. Tactical battles are complex and compelling affairs. Strategic battles, while they again could be better explained and a bit deeper, are a fun change of pace, and the overall strategic layer blends very nicely with the role-playing elements as you beat back rebels, deserters, and invaders alike. The side quests often involve very compelling tales of skullduggery or questions of loyalty and morality, and at the end of the day, your motivations themselves are simple yet powerful. You just want to go home. If you enjoyed this video and want to keep up with more strategy, tactical, and RPG gaming, don't hesitate to let me know down below with a like and a comment, and consider subscribing for more of this kind of content. If you have any thoughts on Expeditions Rome you'd like to share yourself from your time with the demo, or perhaps after you've picked the game up for yourself, I'd be curious to read them in the comments too. As always, a massive thanks goes out to all of the channel members and patrons who've been supporting the channel on a monthly basis. Y'all keep us alive and running smoothly. And of course, a big old thanks goes out to each and every one of you for watching. Until next time, cheers.